Will it be Mercedes? Will it be Alfa Romeo? We'll have to see as it's lights out and away we go. And Jerry Paco gets a particularly solid launch. However, both the Mercedes drivers are now neck and neck with each other. Who's going to be leading going out of the first sector? We'll just have to wait and see. It's currently looking like AR's race, but Jerry Paco still isn't far away. Beastiver got a particularly solid launch as well. But it's looking like AR is already starting to form a gap on the rest of the group. Actually, wait, hang on. I think AR might have taken it a little bit too wide. As now. Wait, did it? No, I think that's just the replay camera.
It was Dungeon. He got a warning on the second corner of the race, which is not going to help him in the long run. And he is now leading on that soft tire ahead of his teammate, and he's hoping to extend until he gets to that medium stint.
Yeah, but do keep in mind that is still the soft compound tire. His teammate is on the medium, so he is gonna have the benefit of longevity when compared to his teammate. So how long do you think that lead's gonna last? I don't think it's gonna be as long as he won.
Yeah, I feel like if he keeps it on track, I think at least at half the race, at least I think around lap 12 or 11 is when he'll have to start pitting, as these softs will just degrade to the medium compound tires. And that's not even when they have their optimal grip, so maybe even earlier will Dungeon pit to the mediums, maybe conserve him there. But so far, Moto is the fastest guy on track at the moment, since he's only 2/10 behind Dungeon on the soft tires. So he's maybe looking on for a potential victory here. It's still looking good. He has actually taken a lead briefly there from Dungeon, so he's looking a really good pace. I think Beast also has a good potential out there, considering his pace is also really good here, as I've seen previous times. But Dungeon on the soft tires, he's still on the faster tire and takes it back from Moto.
It's been quite the result for Moto so far after his particularly solid qualifying. That little bit of extra space he got from making it into the front row is currently what's giving him the leg up on the Mercedes. And he's extending his lead more and more, even without any DRS, because DRS hasn't been open yet, so these are critical laps for the Alfa Romeo to try and get his way ahead of the Mercedes team. And it looks like there's already a DRS gap between third and fourth. I mean, already I forgot the terms, but it's looking like there's already a pretty solid gap between third and fourth. So it's seeming like the main race is going to be between the two Mercedes and Moto.
Yeah, exactly. There are two trains now. I think that's the term called. Two trains separating two groups. Yeah, DRS trains, that's what they're called. Now, different groups. There are many drivers that can contend for the win. Let's say the top three can make a mistake and then they fall to the other group. And then, theoretically, anyone in the top 5 could win.
It's also still been a really good result for the Williams team, who've converted that qualifying pace into on-track pace as well, as they currently have 5th and 6th completely locked up, and they're looking to try and get a launch on Beastiver for P4. Pretty much hoping that Beastiver makes some sort of a mistake, as there's been a massive mistake from Dungeon Fanatics. I think he might have clipped a track limit, as he gives up his position to his teammate AR, and is now only moments away from Beastiver as well, which is also reflecting on the Williams drivers, as they're only moments away from getting into position as well. So it's also not been particularly that good of a result from Jerry Paco, who has lost position of both of the Williams, who are both collectively on the run of their life today. It's seeming like today, Moto is in a league of his own.
Yeah, yes, indeed. Dungeon, who is on that soft tire, he is supposed to be leading because he's on that faster tire, but he's not. And this is going to hurt him a lot at the end of the race. Moto and Hira are also looking like the favorites of the slates. We're looking on to win. Beast looking on for podium. Or will we get a shock podium from Domo Cheek in that Williams? Because he's not too far off the podium places. And Moto's looking for the win, supposed to be else. But Dungeon, he's supposed to be leading because he's on the soft spot. He is 3.5 seconds behind. and once again, it's going to hurt him a lot because he's still losing time to two leaders. It's just not helping him.
A lot of places dropping in the midfield. Robloxian, I think, got ahead of the Williams drivers there. Probably they made a mistake. Nonetheless,
Okay,
Diaz
Jerry Pico.
has lost time.
Wait, hold on.
Oh,
Jerry
Jerry
Pico's
Pico.
actually gunning through the standings as well. He's cut through both of the Williams drivers quite effortlessly. And as the AlphaTauri, after falling back to 7th, charges back to P5. But to be fair, considering this is Jerry Pico we're dealing with, this is par for the course, honestly. He always has this like thing where he falls back in the standings and then shoots back upwards in just a few moments. I think that was actually a fly by here. That briefly distracted me. But yeah, cutting back to the front of the field, it's seeming like Moto has an iron grip on this race, and he'll need to make a critical mistake for any of the other drivers to have a chance to gun it ahead of the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, this is definitely a domination from the beginning for Moto here. I do not remember, well, I do not know who has taken pole, but look at him driving. He's flying and even has DRS. And through turn 2 we go and onto the back straight. Will he get DRS again? We do not know.
Yes! Yeah, he did! I'm gonna be honest. This DRS detection really needs to be fixed. I've said it a couple of times as a joke, but I might just send this footage to X because you cannot explain the DRS opening for the leader 3 seconds ahead of the other drivers when the drivers behind him get nothing. And hold on, I think that might have been a mistake from Heya as well.
Oh!
Wait, no, hold on. Yeah, I think he might have.
Yes,
I think he might have
yes.
hit 1 or 2 track limits because now Beastava is in the podium positions. The Red Bull has been particularly consistent all week. Oh wait, hold on. I think Moto might have made a mistake as well. Either that or Dungeon Fanatics has been particularly solid with his pace as well, as he makes up about 3 seconds in just 1 lap. As now Red Bull have a chance to gun it into the higher positions if they can keep things consistent. As it's now an extremely close battle between Moto, Dungeon, and Beastava. He
gets DRS again!
How did... Yeah, I don't...
He gets DRS
what is
again.
this?
Does Dungeon have the DRS? No, he does not.
No, Moto earlier had it, I think.
Yeah,
I think
Dungeon has been robbed of DRS. Dungeon has been robbed of DRS so many times in this league. It's honestly sad.
Yeah.
DRS again, despite being over a second ahead of Dungeon. What's going on? Maybe Alfa Romeo have been messing around with the regulations and auto configurations of their car. But at this point, it's a little bit too late to approach you about it, considering we are.
Oh, did Moto slow down there?
Hmm?
No, he didn't. Never mind.
Yeah, I thought.
Oh, he kind of did. I think he kind of did.
It's also worth mentioning the Dungeon actually set a purple sector for the second part of the track. Despite being on worn softs, Dungeon is a king at maintaining his tires from what we've seen in the season so far, and he's still just barely about a second behind of Moto. Is he going to get the benefit of DRS? Yes, he is, to close that gap just a little bit more, but is he going to get it for the long straight, or is Moto going to be blessed with... Moto got blessed with unfair DRS again, and Dungeon didn't get it.
Oh my god.
This is starting to become comical now. What is happening? What is going on?
This is actually reminding me of PARC Germany, where Geometry was actually getting a lot of DRS, so that slot 85 couldn't get the P2 spot. But nonetheless, for this case, this is kind of getting unfair.
Yeah, but to be fair, considering that we're only pretty much halfway through the race, anyone could get a win here. Moto could keep things consistent and get the win. However, Dungeon Fanatics has been oppressive for pretty much the entire race. So could that eventually break Moto and give the Red Bull the lead? And on top of that as well, hold on, did someone make a mistake?
Oh.
Yeah, I think Beastman might have clipped a track limit or something. Let me check the seconds.
Yes,
yeah,
he did.
Beast of a left the track limit in sector 3, and now Red Bull are falling down the standings, and now it's back to being a Mercedes 2-3. They're looking to try and cut their way ahead of Moto any way that they can, as now Beastava has a massive uphill battle to do, as he currently has P4 being challenged by Jerry Pecco, the driver in the sister AlphaTauri team, who is still looking for that big break in the lead. But cutting back to the front of the pack, it's still looking like Moto has a particularly good grip on the race itself. If he can keep this consistent, then this could be an amazing result for Alfa Romeo, and they could potentially gun themselves to the very front of the standings if Mercedes have a whiff later on in the race. By that I mean mistake. Don't get any ideas. Okay, Dungeon Fanatics is now realizing the mistake of his softs and is now going into the pits for mediums. Could this be the start of a climb back for Dungeon Fanatics? I think considering he was using softs earlier, this only makes sense for the Mercedes team to go for. Mercedes now fall back into, I think that's like 8th? Hold on. Yeah, that's 8th.
Yeah.
Dungeon Fanatics is now in 8th, and he has quite the climb to do. Is he going to be able to get DRS from the cars ahead? Yes, he is. He gets DRS from the Williams of Damar Austin. Finally, the one place where Dungeon isn't getting robbed of DRS. But now, Moto doesn't have another car to compare to, so this might potentially start slowing down his pace, as, like we've seen in a couple of other races, Moto is a driver who controls his pace depending on where the rest of the field is. So where did he come from? I wasn't even focusing on him, and now he's all of a sudden in third. How does Jerry Pecco keep doing this?
It's probably more of commentary curse again.
Beast is sitting
going into the pits. He might
Let's
go
see
soft.
what tire he goes.
He goes soft. Beastava is going full pace for these last couple sectors. I don't think anyone in the front row has gone softs yet, but we'll just have to wait for them to pit to see what ends up happening.
Yeah, and
Jerry
this is,
Pecco is now third in the standings. If he can keep things consistent, he might be able to make a climb back to Hayar. Moto is also still in a particularly solid position. It's been an amazing race for him and the Alfa Romeo team. I'm gonna do some math real quick as to where these would put each driver in the standings, because YC not being here is kind of huge. So if Beastava would have come second, that would put him there. So, okay.
Yeah, he'll be first.
I'm gonna have to talk about Moto here for a second, because Dungeon has not made a lot of ground on Moto. You guys see it on the gaps. He is over pit distance away from Moto, and he was right behind Moto when he pitted, so this is not looking good. So Moto is understandably staying out, because he knows he can afford to pit later and potentially have...
Hang on. I just have to say something. Jerry Pecco got the DRS. The car behind him is 3 seconds away, and the car in front of him is 3 seconds away! How do you explain this?
Someone tell Eck about this!
Yeah, I'm telling Eck about this. That's going too far. Anyway, so cutting through the rest of the field, everyone else is gonna have to think about when to pit soon, including Moto. He's been wearing out his mediums more and more with every single lap. He's taking a gamble with every single lap he does it, and so is Hayar. And Hayar is now gunning into the pits. It's currently Jerry Pecco in second place. But what compound is Hayar gonna go for? Hayar switches it up to the soft compound tire. He's now going to go full focus to try and gun ahead of Moto in the positions. But how much time is Hayar really going to have to make up for that gap that Moto was letting them have by staying out longer and longer on softs? And in a complete surprise to everyone, due to everyone pitting, the McLaren of Lawnmaster has cut his way into third place. This likely isn't going to last for long, because he needs to pit very soon, and Dungeon Fanatics has caught up to him. But still, this is quite the sight, isn't it?
Yep.
I'm gonna look at Moto. He's probably going to pit. He's probably gonna pit this lap, and he
Moto still hasn't pitted.
Moto stays down.
I'm gonna. This is really interesting for Moto because he knows he has a 12 point.
It is worth
That overcut.
Go on.
Yeah, you go on.
Although it is worth mentioning that earlier Moto did end up clipping a track limit and got a red sector. Whether this bodes into him being reckless or not, I'm not entirely sure because I think what's given Moto the gap is from him playing it safe. He hasn't gone for any crazy lines. He's just gone for what he knows he can get away with. And also looking at the back, the Williams have slowly been starting to fall through the standings as now Lordmaster and N4 have found their own ways to cut ahead of the Williams. As now the highest one is currently in P7. Hold on, I think one of the Red Bulls might have actually made a mistake as I was saying that. Like I've heard
Moto has made a sawdown penalty, which allows Dungeon to close up.
But is he close enough? No, he is not. It's still a good lead for Moto there.
Yeah, Moto
Despite of that.
Yeah, Moto clipped to another. Wait, he already had a full penalty? Like, he already had a full...
He already had a penalty.
Okay, so crucially for Moto, that actually resets all of the penalties he's already gotten. But if that's proving anything, it's proving that the Alfa Romeo of Moto is starting to get a little bit more aggressive with those super softs. Could this mean that he's going a little bit too far? Again, with only 6 laps to go, we'll just have to wait and see. As Dungeon Fanatics is in second place in the overall standings, Mercedes are trying to play the long game when it comes down to overall points. They're not too concerned about Moto. If they can get ahead of Moto, either way, that's gonna prove to be just a little bit more of a bonus for them. As this is proven to be quite a miracle run for Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, we haven't seen this unlike PARC in Season 1. Alfa Romeo might actually dominate in AR21 as well.
But then again, you do have to remember, Wifey has been nowhere... Wifey has been nowhere to be found today. He hasn't even responded to any of my DMs that I sent to him. Okay, Moto actually sets a fastest first sector, which proves that he is going entirely for pace right now. He's not he is not making use of that 5-second gap. He is driving as if Dungeon is only a second behind him. Is this recklessness gonna cause him to hurt himself? We'll just have to see because I'm honestly not too sure myself.
I don't think so, to be honest. I mean, Dungeon, he has spit it all the way back in lap 12, and Moto is on super fudge soft as he had lap 18 as his in lap. So he could push, but he knows he doesn't have to because he is on a much better tire, and the next person on the softs is 10 seconds behind. But he still has to be careful because Dungeon is maintaining this gap.
Okay, Moto ended up clipping a track limit. That adds 1 to his counter. He's been getting kind of careless of how many times he's crossed over the track. But it's also worth mentioning that Hayar ended up tapping it as well. Moto actually sets another fastest first sector. Could this end up reflecting in his time?
Taking that last corner, and as you can see on the timing screens, he has indeed gotten a slowdown penalty, and it picked up another warning in that first sector for good measure.
Okay, hold on. I think Dungeon Fanatics.
Yeah.
Dungeon Fanatics might have made a mistake, but actually, looking at the driver standings, Moto isn't going to be leading the championship. If Hayar stays in the position he's in, he's going to be tied with the Alfa Romeo driver. So now, this is a critical race for the Mercedes of Hayar. If he can get ahead of his teammate, then he will be ahead of Moto in the standings. Not just behind him, but also, Jerry Pecco is looking to try and get a piece of that pie with only a few laps to go. Moto is in a world of his own, and considering his gap... Wait, no, hold on. There's been an order from Dungeon Fanatics to Hayar to give Hayar the position because if Hayar still remains in third, then he's going to be tied up with Moto. But with Hayar in second place, he will be leading the championship after the end of this race. Mercedes are going to absolutely crush it in the constructors' standings as they are playing the long game when it comes to overall points. As Hayar now cuts it into second place. And now,
also starts the final lap. Let's go on to him for a moment then.
He's been shown out of his teams for some questionable words. He's gotten surprise wins when everyone else has fallen behind him. He's gotten DRS trades when he probably never should. And of course, we can't forget the first round of Season 2 for Apex 22. We can't forget round 1 of the Apex World Championships this season, where he completely broke the leaderboard standings to briefly put himself ahead. But despite all of that, Moto has stood on top. He's proven everyone wrong as Moto wins the German Grand Prix. But rather crucially, Heya finishes in second place and is now leading the Oh my God!
Oh!
In the last second,
no!
Heya cuts a track limit and Jerry Paco guns it into the podium. It's disaster for Heya as now
commentator curse.
such a sudden shift. Moto actually is leading the Drivers' Championship.
Oh my goodness
Mercedes
me.
had a plan, but in the last corner, Heya cut it too wide, and Jerry Paco had a jump for the podium. What was that? What
This
did
is
I
the definition.
just see? What did I
This is the
just
definition.
see?
This is the definition of anything can happen in a race. What just happened to Heos? It was so close and yet so far.